Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all of you. I am Dr.liza Abdullah and I'm an English lecturer at Celpad Center for Languages and Pre-University Academic Development in the International Islamic University Malaysia. Okay, I'm here to as an invitation actually for my former students, Brother Abdullah from Kurdistan, to be part of his project on the YouTube channel, to actually give some tips to all of you with regards to how to improve your English language. So actually, to talk about English language first, maybe we can talk about how to improve the English language in general, as well as how to actually to pass and to pass our test, which is the English placement test in the center before you actually get to embark on your courses in Kuliah. So first thing first, you have to know when you want to learn the English language or any language, you have to know that language is a skill. It's not like a content that you got to memorize everything, and then but the language is like skill similar to cooking or baking or whatever, even cycling. So to know the skill from the basic and to master it, basically you have to, the keyword is practice. So you have got to practice in order to be good, and at the end of the day maybe to master even to do anything like to speak, to write, as well to understand what you're reading. So um, um, in general, all right, if you want to learn a language, a new language, first thing, or any kind of learning, you have to have the right attitude. So the right attitude means like you have to do the needful, okay? Like if you have to go to classes, you have to attend classes regularly, and you have to do the work to actually enable you to practice whatever that you are supposed to practice, as well as in this environment, in this university, you should mix around. You should be in the environment in which you are able to speak the language. And in fact, in this university, students are lucky enough because people or students, the other students come from various countries, various backgrounds, in which it is a good platform for you to practice your English. So yeah, so having the right attitude, right, that is important. So don't hate the language. If you hate it, then you will not do whatever you are supposed or you should be doing. All right, so going to how to actually, there's some tips to actually pass our exam, which is the APT. Well, our exam consists of three skills. It's a combination of listening and speaking. We have writing as well as reading. So how to actually be good in speaking? Okay, so if you if you come to this country, you sort of you don't have a choice, but you need to speak the language, so you need to practice. So in our speaking exam, we provide, actually before the exam, we provide our students with vocabulary, adequate vocabulary, hopefully under different themes that we cover in 14 weeks. So with all the vocabulary that have been provided, we hope students use this, so when use them in their speaking. So in so when to talk about that, you use all this vocabulary and you use the concept of say what you want to say it, or say them and say what you have said. So when you have this, you actually have organized your points in here rather than putting everything on paper. All right, how actually for you to have, you have to be also make yourself comfortable in speaking the language. So to practice, maybe, in class is not enough. In class only is not enough. So how are you going to practice it with, maybe you can practice it with your friends, but if you don't have friends around, then you have to practice it within yourself. How to do it is like you speak to yourself in English. When you learn English every day, then somehow people say you will dream in English, you will talk to yourself, think in English, talk to yourself in English, then inshallah, you will have a comfortable situation or way of speaking the language. So yeah, that is one that's I always tell my students. Okay, so from the speaking goes to writing. So writing is something that people are afraid of. Yeah, in our writing, we this is a what we are giving time. There's certain time allocated for them to write. So it's not a long writing. It's only like a 250 essay approximately. So what they have to do first is to know the organization. So mostly these adult students, they don't have problems with organization, but the problems are always with their language. They're again going back, actually what you learn in what you do in speaking can be applied in your writing. First is the organization. Say what you want to say it and say it again, right? And then you have the vocabulary, whatever vocabulary that you have already used in your speaking, then you can use in your writing as well. And the language or the structures, I would always advise them to have varieties of ways to write, not just one pattern of writing. So these will come with the lessons in class, the practices that they have in class, and also their own efforts to actually use all this. So yeah, that's for writing. So again, going back to practice, we do have weekly practice that we have so that students will know their progress. At the same time, as students, you are supposed to be aware of what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Okay, and you have to ask your teachers what's wrong with your writing, and you have to be objective. Don't be too defensive. You have to have an open mind that okay, these are my mistakes, and hopefully in the next writing you won't be having the same errors. So that's for writing. And last is reading. Reading is very important. If you ask me, I would say that reading is the best way to improve your language, in English or in other languages, because from reading you get the vocabulary, you get the you're exposed to the structures, how to write sentences. So you may not realize it, but when actually you always read, like say one day, like an article or newspapers, it doesn't have to be academic materials only. And people, this is a challenge nowadays in which there are so many gadgets. People actually look at handphones or tablets or whatever, but actually you can do readings also using all these gadgets. You can read fan fiction, you can read news, you can read all those comments that people make on Facebook, Twitters, and everything. So reading this will actually, if it doesn't take like overnight for you to say, hey, I'm good already, but it will take, the more you do it, the better you will become. So all in all, I would say that the keyword again is practice, and having the right attitude and practice a lot, and like the language inshallah, it will make you a better learner, inshallah. So with that, I end this video now. So all the best to all of you. Assalamu alaikum.